Have you ever actually touched a soft cloud? Cotton is this wild plant that grows real, physical fluffy clouds right out of the dirt. And its whole journey starts from a tiny seed just resting deep in the warm earth. It all starts out so incredibly small. The seed drinks up the bright sun, and soon enough, a green sprout pops up. It gets super tall and strong as it soaks in the rain, and then beautiful flowers bloom right on the branches. They start out pure white, slowly blush into this deep pink, and eventually just fall off, leaving behind this hard green bump. That hard green bump is called a boll. Think of the boll as a tiny armored vault. Inside that sealed vault, secret magic is happening in the pitch black. Long white hairs start growing out of the new seeds, packing themselves tighter and tighter until the vault gets totally stuffed. Eventually, it dries out and pops open, bursting with bright white fluff that covers the fields in summer snow. The plant doesn't make this fluff for us, though. It makes it to help its seeds survive. That fluffy material catches the blowing wind, lifting the seeds up and carrying them off to find fresh dirt. And that is exactly how ancient humans stumbled upon these wild, fluffy plants long ago. They reached out, touched those white puffs, and realized, wow, this feels absolutely amazing. Back then, people were mostly walking around wrapped in animal skins or seriously itchy wool. Wool definitely kept you warm, but it scratched your skin relentlessly. Cotton was a completely different vibe. It was incredibly light, it felt cool and gentle against human skin. Naturally, absolutely everyone wanted clothes made out of this impossibly soft plant. But getting those clothes was an unbelievably frustrating struggle. The plant itself was covered in pointy parts that would just tear up human fingers. And the biggest nightmare was hiding right inside the fluff itself. The sticky black seeds were hopelessly tangled deep in the white hairs. People had to painfully pry every seed out by hand because the fibers held on so tight. Cleaning a tiny shoebox worth of cotton would eat up the whole day. It was agonizingly slow. Because it was so painfully slow and boring to clean, cotton clothes were ridiculously rare. Only the absolute richest people could ever dream of buying them. The rest of humanity just had to stick with the itchy wool and deal with it. People were desperate for a faster way to untangle those sticky seeds. Enter a smart guy named Eli Whitney, who watched this massive struggle and decided to build a simple wooden box with a turning cylinder to do all that agonizing work. He called this contraption the cotton gin, gin just being a snappy short word for engine. There was a metal crank on the side of the box. You would turn it, and the turning cylinder, which was covered in these little wire teeth, pulled the raw, fluffy cotton through some really small slots. The slots were so incredibly narrow that the fluffy cotton could slip right through, but the sticky seeds were too big, so they just got stuck and stayed behind. Then, small brushes wiped the clean cotton right off the wire teeth. Imagine having gum stuck in long hair. This machine was basically a magic comb that effortlessly pulled the hair right through the gaps while instantly snapping the gum off. It was that simple and that brilliant. That simple wooden box was so incredibly fast compared to human hands. The slow struggle of pulling seeds all day was just instantly wiped out. Suddenly, people were churning out huge mountains of perfectly clean cotton every day. The whole world just went wild for this soft fabric. Farmers planted giant fields of the stuff everywhere they could. Big wooden ships started hauling the clean fluff across oceans to crowded cities. There, inside huge, noisy factories, giant machines spun those short little cotton hairs into super strong yarn. Then, other huge machines wove that yarn into massive sheets of cloth, ready to be chopped up into extremely cheap, comfortable shirts and pants for regular folks. But this massive factory boom triggered a deeply terrible problem. The machines were great at cleaning the cotton incredibly fast, but humans still had to go out into the sprawling fields and actually pick it. And the farmers, desperate to make as much money as possible, needed massive amounts of workers for those giant fields. Instead of paying workers, they forced people to do it for free. Enslaved human beings were pushed out into the blistering heat. From sunrise until the sun finally set, they were forced to pick those sharp, unforgiving plants. The exact same fluff that gave the world cheap, comfortable clothes was causing profound, agonizing suffering. The world's obsession with comfort deeply hurt a lot of innocent people. This incredibly dark era ultimately tore America apart, causing a massive, bloody war. Fierce, devastating battles were fought until finally that terrible system of forced labor was brought to an end. After the war, people still needed their soft clothes, but farmers actually had to pay free workers to harvest it. Fast forward a bit, and some incredibly clever people figured out a new way. They invented these giant tractors that could drive straight through the long fields. They put huge spinning parts right on the front that literally sucked the white fluff directly off the green plants. Human fingers finally didn't have to bleed on those sharp points anymore. Big metal machines just took over all the heavy lifting. Which brings us to today, where cotton is absolutely everywhere inside your house. Seriously, look at the soft t-shirt you're wearing right now. Just crushed up plant fibers. Feel your thick blue jeans. They feel so tough and heavy, but they are made entirely out of this exact same fluffy plant. Those thick, soft bath towels that drink up water so easily? Cotton. Crack open a new medicine bottle and you'll find a little cotton ball hiding in there. Even the green dollar bill sitting in your pocket is mostly woven cotton, not regular paper. Think of regular paper like a fragile sandcastle that completely dissolves the second water hits it, while woven cotton is more like a sturdy cargo net holding everything together. That is exactly why your money survives a trip through the washing machine without melting away. The strong plant hairs just hold it all together, which is wild to think about. We are still planting those tiny seeds today, just like ancient humans did. We tuck them into the dirt, step back, and just let the warm sun and the falling rain do their ancient magic. We watch those hard green bolls slowly transform into exploding white summer snow. It is this incredible, quiet, natural cycle that just keeps repeating every passing year. So the crucial point here is that a tiny seed grows this soft fluff to protect its babies. And that exact same fluff became humanity's absolute favorite thing to wear. This simple, quiet, white fluff managed to connect human history. It dressed the entire world in comfort while completely testing our deepest morals. It is just wild to think about how a tiny little plant shaped the way we live, the way we work, and ultimately, the way we treat each other today. Will you ever look at your soft, comfortable clothes the same way again? It makes you wonder. If you liked hanging out and exploring this with me today, do me a favor, drop a like, share this with someone who gets curious about this stuff, and subscribe so we can keep uncovering wild things together.